Okay, hello everyone. Thank you for joining us on today's interview session. And thanks, Mr. Sean, for spending time with us today. Mr. Sean.
Thank you, Mandy. Hello to everybody. My name is Sean No. I am the co-founder and CEO of a company called Via Franchise Consulting. We represent quite a few international franchises from the West in places like the US, the UK, the rest of Europe, Australasia, as well as many leading brands across Asia, and from places like Korea to Taiwan, to Singapore, to Thailand, and other places. So very nice to meet you today.
Okay, so thank you for a very briefly introduction. So for today's sessions, we will discuss about one of the most exciting trends in the data science sector. So as I know, choosing a correct location nowadays is a challenging job for many companies across the whole industry. So once you make a wrong choice, you will end up losing so much time and money. So Mr. Sean, would you please share some more of the thoughts about it?
Yeah, this is a really great question, Mandy. We don't often talk about it, but indeed, it is an area that is one of the most challenging aspects for many businesses that own and operate various types of retail businesses. That could be 7-Eleven or Circle K or Family Mart or some similar convenience store in your particular market. It can encompass other categories like F&B, brands like Little Caesars Pizza or Texas Chicken or Wayne's Coffee, to as well as other retailers, big box as well as small boxes. We talked about the small boxes with the convenience stores, but the big box retailers could be brands like Ace Hardware, right, which is the largest home improvement franchise in the world. And even other categories that you typically don't see mentioned in the world of franchising, and they can include education brands. Some of the bigger ones that you see that dominate their market are Bricks for Kids, the #1 STEM-based brand in the world, Mathnasium, the #1 math tutoring franchise in the world. And this also can be used in health and lifestyle brands, brands such as GoFit or Fire Fitness or the various pharmacy chains. Indeed, it can be in almost every category, from real estate developers choosing to build their next project somewhere that need hard data to make their informed decisions about where possible residential communities are, where business people work, to flexible workspace businesses like IWG and its flagship brand, Regis, and where they should locate their flexible workspace businesses in any city. At Via Franchise Consulting, we are very proud that we are partnering up with GapMaps from Australia. We are helping them to expand to the rest of Asia, and believe there are many organizations that are seeking what we call location intelligence tools. Tools that will not replace their existing process of selecting and choosing the right location, but kind of supplement it with more hard data, so that that data will hopefully confirm what some of their other processes have already told them in terms of what the right location will be. And maybe because I think this is kind of a new topic for a lot of people, let's go back a little bit and talk about what exactly is location intelligence. In short, it is about having access to key data sets that help you as a decision maker to decide where to locate your next business. And again, that next business is an outlet or a new real estate project or a new shopping mall. It could almost be anything related to expanding your business network in your country or even internationally. And really, data points such as population, something we call consuming class and premium consuming class, which excuse me, which kind of go back to estimating the potential disposable incomes of consumers for that particular area, to other factors like a geo mapping of current locations of your business, to potentially proposed locations, comparing that to where your competitors are based and the radius that these businesses operate in. All of these things can be systemized using a GapMaps tool. And really, at the end of the day, when you have this type of data, you have this type of tool, it's much easier to make the right decisions and to ensure that you have a higher likelihood of success in choosing the right locations. We all know, and I think, Manny, you mentioned this earlier, it really just takes a few small mistakes in choosing a few wrong locations to make what would be a really attractive, profitable business turn into something much less profitable and quite possibly unprofitable.
Oh, thank you, Sean, for your information. It's so much in detail. So, and I totally agree with you. And I heard a lot about GapMap and how GapMap can combine global expertise with local data and market knowledge to provide clients in Southeast Asia with accurate, meaningful, and granular location intelligence insight. So, is it true?
Yes, that's a good point, Mandy. The typical businesses that uses any sort of location intelligence that we just referred to is likely using anecdotal observations or using old and oftentimes inaccurate public data published by the government. And that can include many different demographics data, from age to population to education levels, etc. Right? The main issue with the public data is that it is often very old. Governments don't update their systems and don't do surveys every year. In fact, many governments around the world do it every 10 years. Some don't even do it at all. So it certainly, it is some information, but it's obviously not the most updated information and certainly not the most accurate. Even in countries where you do have accurate, publicly, available data in more developed countries like Australia, like the US, like other parts of the developed world, it's often not granular enough for you to make a specific business location. With a tool like GapMaps, a person can drill down to a level as small as a grid that is as small as 250 meter by 250 meters. And for some groups, if you have even more specific needs, like many convenience stores and many pharmacies that want to locate in very highly urbanized areas where there's a lot of apartments, for example, a lot of offices and businesses, you may even want to get down to an even further breakdown of maybe even 100 meter by 100 meter. Certainly coffee shops like Starbucks, for example, often request this type of data, so that because of the popularity of such types of businesses, and oftentimes government data is also at a very high level, right? Like it's at the ward level, it's at the district level, the provincial level. It's just too broad of a category, too broad of a geographic area to actually be helpful for key decision makers that need to locate specific locations and units in specific areas that meet their criteria. Now, the cool thing about the GapMaps also is when businesses need to expand outside of tier 1 cities, because a lot of times many businesses, they focus on tier 1 cities, but as they grow and need to grow geographically into non-tier 1 cities, the data that is often needed to make those types of business expansion decisions are often very lacking. And the cool thing about GapMaps is we have it for not only for tier 1 cities, but for almost every major city in any country, whether that's Vietnam or Singapore or Indonesia to Taiwan, etc. So it's really pretty exciting.
Yeah. Wow, like that's amazing, and it's too good to be true, right? So, like, can you share a bit more about the sort of info that GapMap is using? Like, I'm curious.
Yeah, you know, I know this video is going to be very brief in format, so certainly we're not going to be able to share with you the details and how the system was made in order to provide this very effective and useful data for consumers, not only for consumers, but for the businesses that rely on consumers and want to locate themselves near consumers and near where they want to do business. You know, really what GapMaps has done is they've taken many years to develop and continue to improve on this location intelligence data. It leverages off of a lot of technologies that we really don't have time to go into. But one of the key metrics and key tools that we track is through mobile phone usage and certain apps that are run on those mobile apps. So anytime a consumer visits a location or another location, whether it's at their home or at the workplace, through a lot of data mining, you know, almost every day, every month, every year, we are able to kind of data mine and understand the behaviors of potential consumers and where they go to work, where they go to have you know, leisure entertainment, and where they live also. And a lot of this information can be very specific to specific locations where businesses want to locate themselves, whether it's in neighborhoods or in business centers, etc. So, and a lot of times what we find is usually this type of tool, location intelligence tool, is reserved only for the large conglomerates that have millions of dollars in their IT budget to be able to develop this themselves. What GapMap saw was an opportunity to invest the millions of dollars into this technology across Asia and to provide this, this technology, this information in a very affordable, effective way for companies that cannot afford to have this type of location intelligence. So in many ways, we've equitized the playing field so that the smaller and medium-sized enterprises can have the same tool sets and the same intelligence to help run their businesses like the big boys.
Wow, that's great. And yeah, so how does someone sign up to use GapMap? Could you share?
Okay, well, sure. We can certainly share that. You know, hopefully this was a brief, but hopefully opens up some ideas on your end in terms of, and your viewers, in terms of what a GapMaps tool can do and the potential benefit for any small, medium enterprise, as well as larger ones. In fact, GapMaps today, we work with some of the largest F&B businesses, some of the largest retail chains in the world, and specifically here across Asia. But it is not only limited to these types of organizations. We are happy to help. We will be happy to provide a free demo privately and confidentially. Just contact us at info@vfranchiseconsulting.com and we will help schedule that call with GapMaps.
Okay, thank you so much for your sharing and the information about GapMaps and the importance of choosing a correct location. Everyone, remember to hit subscribe or like this video to get further information on franchising and to get other tools that help you expand your business successfully. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.